What's up, y'all? It's Leilani. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you're already subscribed, use a real one, period. Today, you can tell by the title, I'm gonna be telling you guys about the time I set this house on fire. Well, his apartment on fire. It's really the top 4 craziest things that I've done to my exes, and it's really just like 2 different people I'm talking about here. Yeah, this happened. I'm just a hot mess today. Also, if my audio sounds like as it probably does sound like forgive me. Anyways, we're gonna get onto this video with number 4. Also, these are in no particular order. Comment down below which one you think was the worst. So we're gonna get into this with number 4. Okay, this is so funny even thinking about it, you guys. Okay, so we're gonna call the dude B because that's what his nickname started with anyways. So we were together for like almost 4 years. And I remember one night, I had his phone, I was looking on his phone, something, he never locked his phone. I noticed that he had been texting this girl. She was sending him like semi-nudes. Does this look cute? And all them old texts like that and stuff. And I'm just looking. I'm like,
wow, okay.
This girl lived in Chicago. One day he decided he was gonna go fly to her in Chicago. He told me that they had some kind of money move to make. I don't know, something to do with credit card. He asked me if I wanted to go. It's like, no.
Hell no.
So he's really thinking he's gonna fly to Chicago to see this. I remember his phone plan. This is important because I remember his phone plan was a $2 a day plan. So like on his account, he had loaded like $20 on it. I ended up hacking into his phone account and changing his phone plan to a minute plan, so then it became like a minute phone, and every time I would call him it would deduct $1. Whether like he answered or not, it would take off $1, and every time I texted him it would take off 50 cents. So he ends up really going to the airport, and I know this because I was blowing his phone up and I was hearing the ticket agents in the background like, you're really gonna go see a whole ass. He was so bold, y'all. He was so bold. So anyways, I hack into his phone plan. I'm changing it to a minute phone. So I started calling him blocked. So all his money ran out. So he had $0 on there. So his phone turned completely off. I'm like, he's not gonna go there if his phone's off. As I'm doing that, the girl is loading money back onto his account, cutting his phone back on. I'm blowing his phone up again, blocked, deducting money, and she's like adding it on. She ends up stopping at like 140. I end up blowing all that, calling his phone, switching it to a minute plan. If any of this makes sense. So the very last time I call him, I hear him like leaving the ticket counter. Like I hear the ticket agent. I'm like, he's really at the airport. This thing is so bold. He's really at the airport. So what do? I call security and I tell them that there's an emergency and I need you to I gave him his first and last name, let him know that Leilani said he needs to get home immediately. I think I said like somebody, I don't know, I told the security that like somebody was in the house, some car accident or something like that with one of his family members, something. So they had called over the loudspeaker for him and said, Leilani said you need to get home immediately. I wait like 1 or 2 minutes. He still hasn't called me. So like, he's really, at this point, he's in the security line in the TSA check-in. So then I called the airport. Totally lying, y'all. I told the airport he was about to kill the passengers, you guys. Follow me.
Kill the passengers.
And then commit suicide after. They snatched him out of TSA so quick. Needless to say, he did not make that flight and he ended up going to jail. When they snatched him out of the line, I guess like the procedure is to like have like a psych evaluation, so they had to evaluate him, do all whatever they did. He ended up going to jail, but he didn't end up going to jail for that. He ended up going to jail because I guess he had a warrant that I had no idea about. So him and the girl called me on 3-way and they're like going bad. Why did you? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm playing stupid the whole time. You guys, so that was number 4, the time I lied to the airport and told them that my boyfriend was going to hijack the plane because I didn't want him to go see this. He didn't go see her. Anyway,
number 3,
we're gonna call this dude A. So me and A weren't even together, but we were like kind of together, so it was like a situationship, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, those get serious, okay? Basically he was just but he was some good so he had this girl over. This girl, I had never met her before. I had never heard of her before. I don't know. He had this girl over at his house, but like I said, we weren't together, so it was whatever. I don't know. I just walked in and she was in the room and he was in the living room. I went to go in the room and I'm like, what is going on? So we end up fighting. Not me and the girl, but me and him. We end up fighting. I leave. The next day I come back and I'm still mad about it. I don't know what he said to set me off like this. I walk out of his room. I'm so livid. I'm so mad to the point where like I'm silent. I'm not even saying anything. I'm not going bad, nothing. I'm so quiet. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. I lived in the same apartment complex. I quietly and calmly walk out like a psycho and go light the bag of chips on fire. And I stood there for like, I don't know, a few seconds to see how big it would get. And I quietly walked to the front door and just walked out. I literally set this dude's apartment on fire and walked out just calm. He was blowing my phone up like a few minutes later. Oh my gosh. He ended up telling me like way later that he had smelled something and that's when he had walked out, but he walked out too late. I don't know. It doesn't take that long for a fire to get big. So I don't know how long from when I set the fire to when he noticed, but he said he started smelling it and yeah, they called the fire. He called the fire department. It was bad. Like literally his microwave was on top and it was like melted on the bottom. The wallpaper was burnt off. Like his whole kitchen was on fire. Like half of his kitchen was on fire. That shit got big. And it was worth it. I'm just saying. Let's get on to number 2. Okay, you guys, this one is just funny. This has to do with B and the same girl, B from the airport. It was another time that he just went off to go see her, like just like mind you, I've been with him for a minute. I don't know where they went, where they were. All of a sudden he just wasn't answering, and then I ended up calling his friends and everything, and they were telling me that he was with her. I had no idea where they were. I remember I lived like 30-40 minutes away from her. I took an Uber to her house, and she lived in this secured gated community. So I ended up climbing under the gate because you can't get in unless you're like on the list or they have to call you in. It's like one of those. So I ended up crawling under the gate and walking hella far to her house. Like her house was pretty far from the gate. So I'm mad. This thing got me fucked. You know, oh my gosh. You guys. So her and B weren't at home. It was her house, but they weren't at home. But B's friend and his friend's girlfriend were there, like basically house sitting, or I don't know. He probably didn't have nowhere to go. He always had some bum ass friends. I don't even know. So I get there, and like I said, I already knew that they were there, and I knew that they were not going to let me in because B already, he knows, like he already told, like all his friends, they know what's up with B. Like he was not gonna let me in, not while they were not there. So I get to the door and I ring the doorbell. I'm standing like to the side so he can't see me through the peephole. And oh my gosh, you guys, I put on
B's voice.
I start fumbling around with my own keys, trying to make it seem like I lost the keys. I'm looking for the keys. I put on B's voice and I put on voice. Why did I just say her name? I'm acting like B and V are like talking to each other, but it's really just me. So I'm saying like in his voice, like, where the fuck are the keys? And she's like, I don't know, like, you know, I'm just having this mini back and forth with myself, acting like it's two different people. So Jay, which is B's friend in the house with his girlfriend, he was like, and then that's when I start talking like them, like hella fast. I couldn't think of anything else. He opened the door like thinking it was them, like they couldn't find their keys. Oh my gosh, this man's face when he opened the door, mouth wide open. Oh my gosh, he already knew it was over. I walked right in, didn't say nothing. All he said was, he sounded so scared. I probably looked crazy. The way he was looking. Imagine, you think it's two people in particular in front of this door. You hear the voices and everything talking back and forth to each other. You open the door and it's a completely different person by themselves. So I walk in, I just start destroying everything, breaking all her dishes, kicking in her wall like paintings or whatever, just destroying the whole downstairs of the house. And then I just walk out walk back out the gate, order my Uber, and go home. And I felt so good about that. I don't know, like, yeah. But knowing damn well she wasn't going nowhere. Let's get on to number one. This one's just funny, you guys. Okay, so this is the same dude, what we call him A. Yeah, this is the same dude whose apartment I set on fire. I don't remember what we were arguing about that night, you guys. We were always fighting. But I remember it was late at night. We were outside. I snatched his beanie off his head, filled it up with these little stones. You know, the apartments, like, they be having like little rocks and stuff everywhere. I filled it up and started hitting him in the head with it. You guys, I ran home, and later that night, he ended up coming to the door. I opened the door, I'm thinking everything's all good, because we always fight. He has a gallon of spoiled milk in his hand, thinking he's gonna throw it in my face. I run to the kitchen so fast. He already knew what I was grabbing for. I ran to the kitchen so fast. As soon as he saw what I was grabbing for, he gonna run out. Mind you guys, it's extra late at this point. I'm just in my underwear. Like, I have a shirt on, panties. I chase after him just with my panties on. Panties, no socks, shirt. Have this image in your head, okay? The night before, it was a thunderstorm, so it was like a little tree that was maybe like, I don't know, this tall, and it was probably like this thin, so the thunderstorm had like knocked it over. I grabbed that. I'm chasing him through the apartment with my panties on. Imagine this. He got a gallon of milk in his hand. I have my panties on, with no shoes, chasing this man so fast with a tree branch. You guys, we had some bombs that night, I'll tell you that. That's all, like, I don't, oh my gosh, y'all. That is wrapping up my top 4. And it was in no particular order, I don't think. Yeah, just 4 things I could think of off the top of my head. But yeah, that was years ago, you guys. I don't even do those kind of things anymore. We're gonna end this video here. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know some crazy things that you guys have done. And tell me if you've done anything worse than these. And you ain't a real one until you subscribe, period. Love you guys.